3 years ago, me, my brother Billy, and his fiancée Gwendolyn took on the mammoth task of restoring this stunning French chateau. At first, it was just the three of us. But since then, the whole family has moved in to help bring this place back to its former glory. And not forgetting the newest family member, baby Ernest. We do everything ourselves, from fixing the leaky roof, managing the vast 60-acre estate, to restoring the grand interiors back to the way they were 100 years ago. It's not always easy, but that's what makes life in a place like this interesting. My name's Michael, and I'm going to be showing you what it's like to live, work, and play at Chateau de la Basmaignee.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. Well, today I'm going to be doing something that I have never actually done before, so I thought you might like to share in the experience. Well, we've got 60 acres of land here, and in 3.5 years of living here, I have never ever walked the entire perimeter of the property. So there's a stream that runs around one side of it through the forest. There's a lovely track just that goes down here where I'm walking now, with a little stream that runs under an old stone bridge. And some parts of it I don't even know if you can actually access, so we're going to be going through hedges and through streams and all kinds of things. So I guess the best place to start would be at the chateau's gates. So there they are. So just outside the chateau's gates there is this little track, and there's some absolutely beautiful countryside around here. This lovely little valley here with a stream that runs through the bottom. And just in the distance, I don't know if you can see it, there's the spire of the local church. It's a little village just outside the chateau. And at the bottom of here is a little stream. So just through here is where the chateau's forest starts. Now for the first part of this little tour, I'm going to go outside the property. So we're actually not on Billy and Gwen's property at the minute, so we're actually outside. And this track is used for access to some farmers' fields which are around the back of the forest. So we'll venture into the forest a little bit later, because that's where the stream is, and we're going to be following that through around the edge of the property. But just look at those views, they're absolutely stunning. Well, this is something I've never done before, so don't know where we're going to end up. I mean, the places that we're going to go now, nobody really goes. It's just, obviously the farmers may access their fields down here, and there might be deer and wild boar that hang around in these areas, but it's a place that people don't usually go. So right now we are stood on top of a bridge, but you wouldn't know it because if you just look there, it just looks like a piece of road. But if we go down here, you will find an old stone bridge. Now I have actually been down here before, but I haven't been all the way around the property, but I'll show you it now. Obviously it's the middle of the summer. We haven't had a lot of rainfall, so the stream's pretty much drying up at the minute. But I'll just show you the little stream here. I've got Wellington boots. Oh, that's really deep mud. There's no reason why we can't go in here though. Just try not to fall over. So just here is a little stone bridge. And we've got to be careful because there's definitely going to be a little troll down here. An internet troll. I wonder where that water's going. The water's not going through here, but it's actually trickling underneath the rocks and underneath the road somehow. So it must have washed its own little tunnel under there, which is interesting. Look at the old stone walls. Right, so let's get it out of the stream and continue with our journey round the property. Oh, I feel like I'm on an adventure and I haven't really even left the property, which is something quite nice about living in a place like this. So if we continue along this track, it should take us behind the forest where the farmer grows his crops. So that is the farmer's field behind the property, and as you can see here, this tree line, that is the edge of the Basmaignee forest and where our land stops. So here is my entrance to the property. You can see it's a barbed wire fence. I'm going to have to climb over it really carefully without tearing my jeans. Whoa. So we're on the other side of the lake now. I have never ever been here before. This area is a lot bigger than I thought. Oh, what a nice place to come for a picnic. You'd have to row the boat over. That's the lake just there. Yeah, if you could row the boat over to this side. This is a nice little clearing where you could put maybe a picnic bench or, I don't know, yeah. Look. The lake just there with all the lily pads. What a lovely place to be. I'm just trying to find some points of interest for you, but at the minute it's just trees and more trees, so hopefully there'll be something interesting soon. Well, just down there is the edge of the lake, so if I want to get through, I've got to scramble through this old laurel hedge. Not as easy as you think. If I climb over this one, under this one. Lost my hat. This is real exploring, isn't it? Aha. Now we're clear of the laurel bush. We're almost at the other side of the lake where I need to get across. It's weird, there's actually a path through here, so I think this is where wild boar and deer must be walking through. This little path, I can tell you, is not made by man. So something is using this as a little rat run to travel around the property. That's the edge of the lake there. So how do I get across? This is just brambles. Yeah, there's absolutely no way I could get through that because that is brambles as tall as me. So I can't access the other side of the lake and the weir. So we're going to have to continue our journey around the edge of the property. Well, I think I've just discovered what's been using the little path that we just followed as a little route through the edge of the property, and I can tell you that it is wild boar. So this wet, muddy area with little trotter footprints is where the wild boars come to roll in the mud and keep cool. We might be able to see somewhere a tree where they have been rubbing against it, because what they do is they roll in the mud, get themselves all nice and wet, and then they rub up against trees to remove things like ticks and parasites. So there must be a tree here with a nice smoothed off area where they've been rubbing themselves, and I think I found it. You see how the bark's all rough here and at the bottom, but it's all smooth around here and covered in mud. So that's where the wild boar, they come here at night and they roll in the mud there, then they rub themselves up against this tree and have a nice good scratch. So we found where they come. So they're quite shy creatures, wild boar, so we probably won't see one, but we can see where they've been. Yes, 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 they come across those fields, down the little path, into the woods here and have a bath. That's it. I can just hear tapping in a tree. It might be a woodpecker. More evidence of the wild boar. And here we have the tracks of the indigenous wild boar, the regions of France. And here we can see how they travel through all the land and into this little stream. Bit of David Attenborough for you. Now we're in the Chateau stream. And we haven't been here since episode 2. You can see little birds. This is a really magical little place, especially when you're on your own. This is where the fairies live. Is that woodpecker again? It is a woodpecker this time, genuinely. Can you hear it? He must be trying to get into a little bug underneath the bark. So this place here is really magical. So you've got this gorgeous old fallen tree that goes across the stream. And it's all covered in ivy. It's literally like something out of a fairy story. You can just see under here, that goes up to the weir. So we'll go up there now and have a quick look. Well, you can see the stream's completely dried up. There's no water coming down the chute like there normally is. This is definitely in need of some repair. You just see this huge hole where the rock's missing. This is the Plunge Pool. You can see it gets really, it goes even deeper. I can't go any further. But the water has washed out this little cave from the rock. So this is probably in need of some serious repair, this dam. And the little chute here. So I guess it's time that we follow the stream back down. Well, you can just see here another area where these wild boar like to come and bathe. This little muddy puddle there. But unfortunately, I can't get any further along the stream from this point because it's all overgrown. So I'm going to have to try and get my way through all of these masses of stinging nettles without being stung to death. Well, I've put my sleeves up as these nettles are really high. So we're going to try and push through without being stung. Although, woo, cobnuts. They're like a walnut. No, not a walnut. They're like a hazelnut. and they're very delicious, and you can actually make pesto out of them and use them instead of pine nuts. If I put the camera up there, try and get through without being stung. Actually, I did hear once that being stung by stinging nettles is very good for arthritis or joint pain. There's some chemical in it. Oh, there I am. There's a chemical in it that is meant to help with that. But as soon as I don't have arthritis, I'll not be stung if I can help it. So here we are. We've left the property again onto a piece of land which the farmer can't actually use because it's not flat enough to grow crops, and these sort of areas are not really good for grazing animals, and it's a bit boggy here. I'm actually walking through water at the minute. I didn't know this was a boggy area because I've never been here before, so always find out new stuff if you go exploring. Oh, this is magical. I'm sure. The thing is, if this piece of land is not being used by the farmer, is it not part of the Chateau's estate? We're not exactly 100% sure where the border is. Yeah, so that's where the farmer's field ends, just there, and that's where we believe the Chateau's grounds end, just where the trees stop. This must be no man's land. I'm just going to go and show you this. This is what they grow a lot in this area for crops. And it's, well, in France they call it maize, but I guess you would call it corn. Just here, this is corn, but I've got a feeling it's not the kind of corn that you eat, not what humans eat. I actually think they grow this specifically for cattle to eat. Fields of corn around the perimeter of the chateau. Oh, I absolutely love this area. I can't believe for 3.5 years I have never ventured into this area. Right, well, just over here I can see a fence, which means this piece of land is separated from that piece of land there. But we haven't actually got all the way along the bottom of the stream bed yet. I actually know where we are right now, and we're still walking around the edge of the property. So I need to somehow, from this point onwards, get back onto the chateau's land, because you can see there is a barbed wire fence. Just down here there's a little entrance into the stream. So let's try and get through. Well, I guess my only way through is through this little crawly hole just here. Look, there's no barbed wire at the bottom, it's just here. So if I can crawl through there without getting stung by the brambles, should be okay. Right, got to get under here. Try not to lose my hat or get caught on that barbed wire. That wouldn't be good for my clothes. So we're through. We're out of the little glade now and into a new one, just here. So here is the entrance to the stream. If I can get over this barbed wire. Try and get under without stinging myself on it again. We're through. We're back on Chateau land. So, where do we go from here? I guess we follow the stream again. Oh, this is pretty. Never been down here before. Oh. It's quite a lot of obstacles. Aha. Looks like we're free now. Look at this lovely little stream. It's meandering its way through the countryside. I've got a feeling that we have reached the southeastern tip of the Chateau's estate, which kind of ends with some barbed wire. I've seen that before. Oh wow, there's a black dragonfly. Absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can see that. Nope, he's gone. More evidence of wild boar. Just down here, there's a little barbed wire fence that goes across the stream, and that is how you know that you've reached the border of the Chateau's estate. So I think we're going to get to that now. So we've reached the point where the stream leaves the Chateau's land, and now I'm going to go up this bank, and we should enter the Chateau's meadows. Just go up the bank through these trees. We've reached the Chateau's meadows, and that's the edge of the forest there. Do you know what? 60 acres, more than enough land, more than any family could ever use. Actually, I'm going to go through here because it looks like the farmer, when he's cut the hay, has cleared a path through here, which makes it easier for me to get back to the border of the estate. Just through this cornfield here, not very far at all, is the stone of St. William. So that would be a way to access it from this land, but that means you'd have to walk through the farmer's crops of corn. I don't think he'd be very happy about that. I guess he wouldn't mind if I went onto his land under this fence to walk around the edge of the property this way. He's a nice man. I don't think he's going to complain too much as long as we don't damage anything. So once again, under the barbed wire. Here we go. Going gorilla now. Look at this. There we go. So we've left the property again. We're now going to go along the edge of this cornfield. Shame you can't eat this stuff. Why don't they grow stuff that humans can eat? I love sweet corn. Oh look, don't know if you can just see through here. In the distance I can see the chateau. Looks magical in this weather. Lovely, sunny, hot day. In fact, today has been so hot that I had to postpone this little walk until the evening. It's about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening now because it was just too hot. It's probably the hottest day we've had so far at the chateau. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back onto the chateau's estate and I'm going to come back out at sundown like I did last week and continue the rest of the tour then. So we haven't even done half yet. That's just half, and that's taken about 40 minutes so far to walk. So it's quite a big place, you don't realise. Right, but for now, I'll see you a bit later. Well, the sun's just starting to set over the chateau grounds. I'll just show you the view from the window because it looks absolutely stunning this time of night. You can see the moon in the sky, and usually this time in the evening you can actually see deer wandering around in the meadow beyond. I can't see any at the minute, but maybe we'll see some when I go back down and show you the rest of the grounds and finish off the perimeter of the property. But I just want to show you something really quickly. I just want to introduce you to the latest member of the family. Now this gorgeous little bear was actually handmade for me by a lady, and she actually makes handmade vintage teddy bears on an old-fashioned sewing machine. I think it's an old-fashioned 1920s or 30s Singer sewing machine. And she made this little Peter Rabbit, winter Peter Rabbit bear, just for me and sent it to me free of charge. And I absolutely love it. It's so gorgeous. And apparently she is also making me another one, which is a replica of a Steiff bear from the early 1900s that was actually designed by Beatrix Potter herself. Now, the original ones, they're so valuable that I probably couldn't afford one. But she's going to make me a replica. And in the meantime, she sent me this. And look, he's got a little... looks like a little wool coat, little felt shoes, and little whiskers there, all done by hand. And in here, in his pocket, is a little note to Michael. And he is going to live in the gardener's cottage. And also, the lady that makes these, she also does repairs to vintage teddy bears as well. So some of the transformations I've seen on her Instagram are amazing. The tatty old bears, ones that are falling apart, she takes them and lovingly restores them back to how they used to be years ago. And I'll put a link in the video description to her Instagram so you can take a look. But her Instagram is called Bears by Gemmoon. So Bears by Gemmoon. So check it out because she's an absolute genius. Look, he's even got little brass buttons there. It's gorgeous. And I just want to give out a shout out to her son, Charlie, who watches the vlogs. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out because she makes the most amazing bears and she's an absolute genius. So please, everyone, go and check out her Instagram because you won't be disappointed. If you love vintage bears, you won't be disappointed. Actually, look, I think he's even got little brass bells on his feet. Try and get him to stand up. Look, he's all jointed and everything. All of his arms move, his legs move. So he's going to come and live with me in the gardener's cottage. What do you think, Titi? Titi, what do you think to the teddy? Is he nice? Oh, she loves him. Look, they're best friends already. Right, well, I guess it's time we finished the lap of the property. So, let's go. Actually, while I'm here, I want to show you something quite interesting about this tree. It's from the outside. Well, actually, on camera, it doesn't look like it, but from the outside, the leaves look, you can see there, they look almost black, like a really dark purple black colour. But from the inside, in the fairy circle, you can see they're actually green. So when the light shines through them, they turn green, but from the outside, they look black, which is bizarre. I don't know how it works. It's absolutely magical, especially this time of night when the sun's just shining through the leaves. It's beautiful. There's no deer this evening. I mean, this time of year when the cornfields are really high, they hide in those. So you don't really see them this time of year, but when they start reappearing is when they start to cut all the corn for the year in the end of the summer. That's when you obviously their little hiding places are being taken away, so they usually come back. But they're usually quite difficult to film. You can never get close enough and you need like a real zoom lens camera, but I don't have that, so if I ever see one up close, I'll try and get it for you. Look at the moon. Gorgeous. So this is where we finished our journey earlier. You can just see the chateau in the background there. It was in this little sort of clearing just here. And I think the farmer's cornfield finishes basically where we left earlier. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow the field all the way around the outside of the property, because it's going to go into a cow field. And they do like to chase people when they see them. So I don't really want to be chased by cows this evening. So through here, I'm probably going to come to a dead end quite soon. That's him. This way. Look at this really cool tree. It's an old dead tree, but it's completely hollowed out. Oh, I just fallen down a hole. I wonder what happens if you go in there. Look at that old dead tree. If you go in there, down the rabbit hole, I guess. So this is the edge of the property here. And that is the farm. And the little barn I showed you in last week's video that's for sale. So just there to the left, where those trees are, just there, that is where the Stone of St William is. So it's not far. So you can see that it actually used to be on the Chateau's property, but obviously all this farmland around it was sold off years and years ago. Well, this is actually my last video from Chateau de la Basmaignee for a few weeks, because I have to leave to catch a flight at 5:15 in the morning tomorrow. So as soon as I finish shooting this, I'm gonna have to go and pack my bags, but I won't tell you where I'm going. It's going to be a surprise, but I will be making a video from another country, and it's going to be quite interesting. A few little surprises for you, but you'll have to tune in next week to see where I am. Oh, look at these little cows, look. Hello. So we've reached the corner of the walled garden. The only way now is to go on the road. So there's the walled garden there. So we're almost back to where we started. This is the Chateau side entrance. And that's the gardener's cottage just there. Billy's cherry picker hiding out of the way. So if you just go up here, but this building just here used to be part of the Chateau's estate. Now this was the old stables and accommodation for people that used to work on the estate. And it's an absolutely huge building, and it's actually got an indoor swimming pool, and it's actually for sale at the minute, I think. I don't know how much it is, but the owners have put it up for sale. You can see it's got the same arched windows like the gardener's cottage. I've only ever been in once, but it's absolutely huge. It's actually the actual floor plan of the ground floor of this building is bigger than the Chateau, although this only has 2 floors, whereas the Chateau has, I think, 6, including the basements and the attics. Just up there in the distance is the water tower, or what they call them in France is a Chateau d'eau, which basically means a water castle. Oh, it's the neighbour's dog, yeah. So that is up for sale. So if we can't buy it, if anyone fancies being our neighbours, that's going to be up for sale soon. And if you just go down this little lane here, so just here, I'll show you really quickly. This is the old Dog Keepers Cottage, and this is where my mum and dad are living at the moment until they can do up their new cottage, which is going to be next to the Chateau. But this is up by the gate, and this is where we keep all of the wood for the Chateau, and this is where we keep all the wood that comes from the forest. So it all gets, oh, dogs are barking. So it all gets loaded up onto the trailer, all out here to be stacked up. And we obviously got a lot more to collect, because we'll probably burn 3 times this in the winter. Loads more of it there. And we've got a log splitter here. This is quite a fun job actually, I won't do it now. But you put your log in here, you press the button and it splits a log. So we're back where we started. Right, well it's now 10 o'clock at night. I need to leave for the airport in 7 hours. So I've got to go back in, got to edit this video, got to pack and sleep and then get up on time. So for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next week from a mystery location. So have a lovely weekend everyone. Bye.